How's it going, Laser Bruce? Up, Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to the letter. Now, somehow we've managed, well, maybe not we, but Ashton has become a believer since the last time we saw him when we had a huge argument in the cafe about it. Now he seems to think something's legit because Becca said something's legit. And only she can be trusted, apparently, because Isabella and I are idiots. We can still fix this.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this.
She lifts her gaze at me, eyes steady and shoulders squared as she holds it against the baffled look I give her. Although in the next second it immediately softens, and it takes me by surprise nevertheless. In those brief moments, it's like I faced a different person.
I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Still in all, that's 2 extra heads who can do the thinking. Between us 3, I'm sure we'll figure something out pretty soon.
Don't make this whole thing sound like it's a piece of cake to deal with.
Shut up, Ash. You're always talking at your ass. I can't stand you. You're almost as bad as the whatever Hannah's husband, Luke.
It ain't. But better than sitting around, yeah? Plan is still a plan.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot one day with that kind of thinking. We don't even know who's doing this. The last 2 murders might just be similar incidents done by 2 different suspects.
Hasn't stopped you from going after them before. Remember that time when you...
Okay, stop right there. There will be no retelling of that incident today, Z-Man. Or ever.
Keep calling me Z-Man and maybe I will.
Suddenly Isabella laughs. Though muffled by her hands, it rings light and easy against the thick tension in the room. Still a far cry from the usual cheer she carries, but brings a welcome shift in the otherwise dreary mood.
Thanks, you two.
I'll tell you about it when he's not around.
Give it up, Z-Man. She's not interested.
Who says I'm not?
Ash makes a face but chuckles at the jest despite himself.
Why am I even friends with you two?
And like this, most of our worries ebb away, if only for a few moments. They take their leave mere minutes close to sundown. But regardless of the lighter mood, little has been said of their plans, only vague hints of what they're aiming to do after. While it ain't any of my business to know, something about this whole thing still gnaws at me. A tiny passing thought urges me to do something as well. At this hour the streets are once again busy with people, heading home after a hard day's work. Little of the bustle matters to them as they step out into the crowded walkway. However, Ash especially, there's only his goal in mind, and I'll wager there's nothing I can do to stop him at this point. He's probably decided on it long before they made the decision to drop by. But despite this, Isabella lags behind. A worried crease is back on her forehead as she watches Ash leave to get his car.
Something wrong, Bella?
No, Actually, can you check on Becca for me after this? I really didn't get the chance to tell her where I'm headed off to. Tell her I'm okay, and No, just that. That's all.
You sure I should skip on that part? If she finds out about this, she'll be angry. I don't really want to deal with angry Rebecca. It gives me a stomachache just thinking about it.
I know that feeling.
Neither do I, but I'll handle it if she gets mad. Just make sure she's safe and tell her to be careful. You too. Take care of yourself.
Almost abruptly, she pauses, the gaze in her eyes hardening as she lapses into another one of those long, distant silences from earlier. This ain't just because of the whole fiasco with the letter anymore.
I don't want what happened to Rose to happen to you guys as well.
This one cut deeper. Before I can ask about it, Ashton returns, casually swinging his car keys on one hand and gestures at Isabella.
Come on, we don't have much time. Shirley's waiting.
Who's sure? Oh, right. Don't answer that. I don't want to hear it, you huge dork.
Says the person who gave her stuffed toys names. Batcat? Really?
It's cute. Yours is just weird. I'll see you later, Zach.
She spares me another smile, and as I watch her walk off, only now did it occur to me that none of those she gave me today ever did reach her eyes. I make a grab for the back of Ash's parka. He staggers briefly before correcting himself and shooting me a confused stare.
Is she alright?
What? Who's okay?
Isabella. She's been, I don't know, out of it today? Did something happen earlier?
Scowl on his face says it all.
She's actually been like that this morning. I'll ask, but...
Just do me a favor and watch over her. We have no idea what we're dealing with. I don't know what happened to her since the last time I saw her. But from how she's been doing today, whatever it is, seems like a pretty big deal. Wait, you didn't annoy her again, did you? Because I swear to God, if you did, you've got another thing coming for you.
What? No. Why would I? Just so you know, I already apologized for the one at the movie house. Granted, she deserved more of an apology, but I meant it that time.
I'm just asking. I'll take your word for it. But if you can find out what's bothering her, that'd be nice. Honestly, I don't think it's the letter this time.
I'll see what I can do.
Make sure you keep yourself out of harm's way, alright?
Yeah, you too. Don't do anything reckless again.
Reckless, no. But I can't make you to promise I won't do anything. After seeing that, there's no way in hell I'm going to pretend there ain't a problem when there is. This is a really big one, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
He's about to argue for a moment, but...
Look, bro, if things ain't good, I'll be the first one out. But allow me this one thing, alright? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want, but please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
I have no idea if it's the look on my face or the tone of my voice. Ultimately, although his mouth presses into a thin line, he nods.
Alright, stay safe, Zach.
When he stumbles into the sidewalk and allows the afternoon crowd to swallow him whole, I like to think the tiny gleam in his eyes is the closest we can get to optimism in the situation. Whether that alone will be enough to give me a peaceful sleep tonight remains to be said. Night falls, and despite my best attempts, sleep continues to elude me. With her image still stuck in my head, flashing every moment, it catches me off guard, with Mars' lullaby still echoing in my ears, no longer the soft tune it once was. And the terrible gnawing at the pit of my stomach, it's no wonder I can't bring myself to drift off even for a little while. It's not as if there's a complete lack of things to do while waiting for sleep to come, if it ever will. And at 2:45 in the morning, I find myself cleaning my photography equipment for no other reason than to just pass time. Though if I'm going to be honest, it's not the night terrors that are keeping me wide awake tonight, but the anxiety and the hope I'll hear from Ash or Isabella soon. And for what's perhaps the 42nd time, my eyes shift over to the end of the table where my phone lies still. What are they doing right now, though? I've not heard from them since they left. They haven't promised to call, of course, but a small part of me wishes that they would have the common sense at the very least. Waiting is a tough game, and with the concerns stretching out to minutes far longer than usual, it's impossible for more unpleasant thoughts not to enter my mind. Moreover, it doesn't help when the clock finally strikes 3. My hand stills. It'd be a complete and utter lie to say my heart didn't leap straight into my throat in that brief second. My whole body has gone motionless, ears straining for any further sounds. A couple of tense seconds pass. Nothing. Of course, with how the old building I'm staying in, power fluctuations ain't anything new. Every now and then, this would happen, leaving a few tenants in a rather bad mood. Nothing unusual anymore after a few years of living here. But this time, the sudden hush brings with it a stillness that raises the hair at the back of my neck and set my heart beating hard against my chest. Something reeks in the air, and in an instant, this place is no longer home. It's a prison. Every rational fibre of my being screams at me to leave. I force myself to swallow and keep a clear head as I lay down all my cleaning tools and begin gathering together the rest of my things scattered about on the table. The camera's body, lenses, filters, diffuser, phone, anything I could reach, but in the resulting panic like in the nightmares, it is the scent that reaches me first, a foul, putrid smell filling my lungs with the heavy stink of death. My fingers clamped tightly around the camera, holding it close to my body, as if the tiny thing would provide enough protection to whatever it is with me in the room. Like in Fatal Frame. It won't. But it's the only comfort I have. And knowing that whoever she is, she had once been human. Perhaps not all of it is gone. Perhaps some of it is still there.
Hello? I know you're in here. What do you want?
Something moves behind me, a soft scuttling over the walls, followed by the squelch and painful creaking of what can only be rotten flesh and broken bones. Without hesitation, I whirl around, my fingers and camera ready, patiently waiting for another movement.
I can help you. Whatever it is that keeps you here, I can help. That's what the letter's for, ain't it? You don't have to keep taking people's lives.
There's a brief moment of silence after, and for a short while I think my pleas worked. Then with no warning, the shuffling resumes, and along with it are the sobs of a woman. I can't see shit. Sounds like it's over here somewhere. Fucking hell. The light flashes fleetingly one last time, allowing me a glimpse of her grotesque, misshapen features before it is once again lost in the darkness. All of a sudden her tune changes, no longer a soft cry but a high-pitched shriek, brimming with pain, grief and anger. Every ounce of courage I've mustered flees from my body at that sound, and the next thing I know my hand is gripping the knob and I'm wrenching the door open. Her wails follow me as I flee into the night. Pacing has always been more of Ashton's thing than mine, and I want to think. I sit and let the minutes tick by until an idea comes to my mind or my pulse settles down. And yet dried leaves and twigs crack under my shoes as I make another pass at them. Terror is too mild to describe what this is. There's no way in hell I'm going back. Whatever she is, pleading won't work. The moment we saw that letter, she's been after us.
But I can't run. Not this time.
Nearly 2 hours have gone by since I left the comfort of my room for the solitude of the park. 2 excruciating hours since I started making calls. No one's answering. Not even Rebecca, who always keeps her phone line open in case other people need her. Or Isabella, who frequently checks for her messages and readily responds as soon as she can afford. It doesn't help that Ash hasn't said a word where he went off to as well.
Damn it! I knew I should have asked him before I let him leave.
Knowing him, he could be anywhere. But there's really only one place he'll likely be at this time. The Ermengarde mansion? The sun has already peeked over the horizon when I make it to the mansion. I've no idea what I'm expecting to see when I get there. There's Ashton, first and foremost. A part of me wishes my assumptions are correct, and he's really somewhere close by on a stakeout. But I've never been the lucky sort when it comes to that kind of guessing. And even after I've made the round of the immediate vicinity, I could find neither hide nor hair of him. Calling him does no good either, considering how awful the signal here is. He can't be too far if he's really here, but if he is, he would have already noticed me by now. Instead, there's only silence. The kind too quiet to find any sort of comfort in. Even the trees seem to have fallen asleep with the rest of the mansion, oblivious to what's happening around it, a small island of stillness in the otherwise fast-paced world. No wonder the whole of Anselm feels at odds with the rest of Luxbourne. While the city is alive, growing every minute, breathing every second and pulsating with life, the village remains unmoving, unchanged. It's not surprising the legions still live up to this day, and why she's still here, walking its hallowed halls. And beyond me the mansion looms ominously. But now ain't the time for terror. Even if Ash isn't here, I've still got to let the Wrights know what I've seen, what's in their home. And whatever grievance Ash has with them, doesn't matter. There might be grounds for imprisonment, but they don't deserve a brutal death at the hands of one malicious spirit. And I'm sure Isabella would want the same thing. I head straight for their door without a second thought. It takes a few rings, the sound loud above the foreboding stillness, before I hear footsteps on the other side.
God and Bennett, only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour. Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Before long, the door swings widely open, with Mr. Luke Wright standing behind it. He's got like a cloud hanging off of him. Seething would be a complete understatement to describe him. Like this, I've got no doubt why Ash would find him a suspect.
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in 7 hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't. Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep. Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
Before I can get a word in, he slams the door out of my face and bolts it shut with much finality.
Wait, sir, you gotta hear me out. You're both in danger if you stay in there. Have you seen the news lately? Everything's not a coincidence.
Only silence answers me. Maybe if it was Mrs. Wright. Oh, who am I kidding? There are limits to how far a person will believe you. Then again, I didn't believe Isabella when she warned us. And now I'm here desperately trying to save people, even if I'm aware it's completely out of my own capacity to do so. Is this what they call karma? If so, this is one horrible way of turning things around. Taking people's lives, playing with people's fears, making them feel useless.
You're around, ain't you? You here? Inside this house? listening, watching, or whatever it is that you spirits do? What did they do to you? I can help you, you know? If it'll let you move on, I'll gladly do so. You don't have to kill anyone.
Nothing. I don't even know who I'm talking to, or if a sane person is supposed to be doing that. The only thing I got after is a feeling of foolishness washing over me. Or perhaps this is just me losing my mind. Out of other options and any other ideas, I let my hand slide off the door's surface and fall listlessly to my sides. I can go back to Luxpawn, try to find the others, try to get out of this mess with them, or let them know how much deep shit we're in. Both sound good. Either way, my loitering here ain't helping at all. I let the quietness calm me for a few more minutes before standing up and heading out to fetch my bike. It's quite the distance to Luxpawn, but if I hurry, I'll reach it in maybe... The rustling stops as soon as I turn around and strain my ears for any other movement around me.
Yo, Ash, you there?
No answer. If he is here, and I've just missed him earlier, already my feet are moving in search of him for the second time. It won't hurt to double check. Triple check even. With how big the property is, he could be anywhere. If things ain't so urgent, and they ain't so dire that lives are at stake, I'd probably just have waited for him to show up again.
But damn it! He needs to realize what exactly it is he's dealing with.
It's not just a petty criminal he can simply throw in jail. That is something beyond the authority his police badge could ever give him. The guy needs to stop playing the big damn hero, sit down and chill. My breathing comes in short, shallow rasps by the time I make it back to where I started. Still no sign of him, and I'm beginning to think that I've just wasted my time here. But that's when I hear it. I recognize the melody in a heartbeat. Ma's favourite song. I listen for a while, trying to gauge where exactly from the house it's coming from. My feet start moving before I can stop them. And there, as I circle the corner, from a room in the first floor, a single window is open, but I can't make out whoever's inside. However, I'm sure the singing comes from there. Still, why I'll hear an old tune here of all places, I won't know. It's to fuck with you, obviously. It's not an obscure song by all means, but it's pretty rare to find someone who knows this. And for some reason, death seems to follow this song around. Panic lodges itself at the base of my throat at once. Whoever's humming might be... I don't want to be a pessimist now, but on the off chance that it's Mrs. Wright...
Shit.
I shouldn't just barge in there. I can put myself in danger before I save anyone. Ash will tell me the exact same words. Might even write me a dissertation why that's a bad idea if he ain't so lazy. But damn it, god damn it. Someone could be in danger. Into the open window. It's obviously the ghost. It sounds like the ghost lady. I can search for Ash, but what if it's too late by then? With how big the place is, he could be anywhere. And it's very likely, by the time he come back, someone's already bit the dust. That and the cries grow louder against my ear the longer I linger. Almost impossible to ignore, drawing me in like a moth to a flame. For a moment I let myself shudder, shaking the uneasy feeling off my head. This can't be a good idea, not by a long shot. Still, I've got to try. Funnily enough, for a couple as high profile as the Wrights, I don't seem to have any security detail patrolling around. A few guards here and there, sure, but one will expect that they'd have more considering the size of the place. It works to my advantage though, and I really can't complain when there's a high chance I might get arrested for what I'm about to do. Luckily, the window's wide enough for me to fit through without making any noise. There's certainly no going back now. But as soon as I step into the parlour, all of it ceases. While I find no trace of the woman, I heard crying like I'm expecting to. The room is still empty at this time of the morning, and I'm left standing awkwardly in the middle of the hush. Let's jump back out the window. Maybe she just hid somewhere.
Hello? Are you here? I heard someone earlier, and I'm here to help.
Hoping for an answer, I let the question hang in the air. But several seconds merely go by without a word, or the slightest movement to indicate there is someone in here. Has been here. With the stories I've heard, the things I've seen, it takes effort to keep my brain from going into that line of thought.
I'm not going to hurt you. If you're here, say something.
Nothing. Am I just hearing things? No, I'm pretty sure I heard someone. But with no one responding, I can't help but feel silly like this. And the awareness that I've just trespassed a house for nothing because of some voice prickles at me. Suddenly the silence feels uncomfortable, and a needling anxiety slowly creeps up my back. I should get out while I can. If it ain't there, it ain't there. I don't spare the room another glance when I walk back the way I came. Out into the window, leave before someone else notices.
I thought I heard a servant moving around here. Turns out it's just a rat scurrying about. How unpleasant.
My heart shoots up into my throat. I can run, the window's a few steps away. I should be able to escape. But instead, out of some foolish impulse, I turn around. Perhaps it's because the only impression the guys left me in what few times we met is nothing but unsettling.
This ain't what you think it is.
You're quite the distance from the kitchen, I'm afraid. Perhaps I should lead you there.
Someone's in here before me. I wasn't here for what you're thinking. There was sobbing and...
The first blow knocks the wind out of me, sending me heaving and crumpling to my knees. Tears well up in my eyes as the pain swells when he twists my wrist behind my back.
You've gotta listen to me.
Then again, dirty thieves aren't welcome in my kitchen either.
For a moment there's only silence and a sudden piercing ache, this time at the back of my head. The room abruptly tilts on its axis, dimming. On the verge of unconsciousness, I can only hear the scuffling of foot, the thud of the door being closed, and a woman, crying, asking for help. I know no more. Oh shit. Has Mr. Wright, like, killed Mrs. Wright or tied her up and thrown her in the basement as well with us? I mean, he had that big cloud of death smoke behind him before. The pain is the worst when I come to. A sharp, piercing ache somewhere at the back of my head, begging to be noticed. But it's nothing I can't handle. Blearily I open my eyes, expecting to be greeted by sunlight. However, the walls that welcome me are unfamiliar. Oh, it's the police station. When everything comes into focus, I recognize the place for what it is. A cell. Dark, cramped, with the only light coming from the moon outside, streaming through the sole window, barred by thick metal bars. Memory rushes back to me in sharp bursts. The mansion, looking for Ashton, a familiar tune and a woman crying. All the while, my head still aches from the hit I've received.
Still better than a morgue, I guess.
Definitely an improvement. Gingerly, I pull myself up, stretching the cramps from my shoulders as I do so, but stopping with a sudden movement induces an acute, stinging pain right through my arm.
Damn, they got me good. What time is it?
As expected, they've taken everything I have on my person. Wallet, cell phone, my keys, meds, even a small pack of gum. Protocol is protocol. In the first place, ending back in another cell ain't on my agenda. The first time was not a pleasant experience, and this certainly won't be either. Considering who has likely put me here, it could be much worse. The bars are cold to my touch when I approach it, looking for the person on duty. They usually allow us to contact someone, and Ashton at least has to know I'm here. He'll be pissed. That I'm quite sure of, but he's the only one who can help prove my innocence and get me out. However much I don't want to rely on him for this. The hallway in front of the cell is empty, but voices float through from further in, likely the poor officers assigned to the late night duty. Judging from the snippets of conversation I can catch, today's topic over a snack is that moron who thought it's wise to cross the rights. They used other names too, most of which I'll like to have words with them about in the future. But really, I'm in no position right now.
Excuse me. Anyone?
Silence.
Excuse me. I need to make a...
Blood freezes in my veins, and my grip on the bars tighten as the revolting scent reaches my nose. More than the gore, the foul smell of death hangs heavily in the air, and against my better judgment I turn. Her face is the first thing I see. A gruesome sight on its own, eyes gleaming with nothing but malevolence. Blood oozing from the large punctured wound on her head, mouth open wide in a voiceless scream. I clamp on the compulsion to retch. On instinct I step back, putting as much distance as the cramped cell will allow between us. The bars rattle as soon as my shoulders hit it. A hindrance, not to freedom, but to safety.
You've got to stop this! We can't help you this way!
She moves in short, sudden, bone-crunching twitches, and I know there's no escape. I'm screaming for help, before I know it, jolting the bars with as much force as I could.
Somebody! Get me out of here! Anyone, please!
Bugger off! Some people are trying to get some sleep here!
Aren't you working?
No! She's here! You've got to let me out! She's gonna kill me! Someone! She's...
Damn it, I got Zach killed. Sorry everybody, I liked him too. You've unlocked a memory fragment. The beginning. Okay. Marianne. Oh, how do we look at the memory fragment? Or do we do that afterwards? Guess we do that afterwards? 7:15 PM. The numbers are so little on the top of my screen that they glare at me with such intensity that I can just hear their accusations. I'm late for a night out with the girls, yes, but I have a perfectly good excuse. Jeez. Considering I didn't follow typical office hours, they really can't expect me to be able to just go as I please at 5:30 on the dot. The client is first and foremost my priority. I have to sit tight when my personal assistant Chris tells me we have a big one coming up and that I shouldn't miss this one. He knows a lot more on the who's who and the what's what when it comes to these socialites, and I trust that judgment call. I really don't have time for rich people, their drama and their politics. The sort that were born with silver spoons in their mouths and who were used to wagging their silver tongues about. I let him handle the negotiating with them for the most part. Why else would I have hired him? I thought that was the Quantum Suicide ladies on the picture on the wall back there. Wait, didn't Quantum Suicide come out after this game? Right? Because this game came out in 2017. And that's that, the captain on the wall, right? And there's Quantum Suicide on the computer there? Huh, that's very odd. Did they update it when that came out? Are those companies connected somehow? I do not understand. Anyway, but he told me I'd receive a message about it an hour ago.
Now, if only he has the full shilling when it comes to the time.
And that's the artificial intelligence skill, right? Oh my god. Come on, I have a social life too, you know. To an extent. Sort of. Pressing my head against the table, I try to stave off an oncoming headache when the notification for a new email pops up. All I'm expecting is a, hey, this looks like a good project I found. Go send them a design or something like that, really. That's how it often goes. Even with these rich, jammy clients who's heard of me from their equally rich, jammy friends, I can't expect them to hire me right off the bat. Which is all well and good and reasonable. We figure out what they want, send them my portfolio, my drafts for their projects, my rates, and hopes for the best. This is a big client, Marianne. I'll babysit Bethurial for you. Beruthial, there we go. Just please, take this one project. I promise, this person is huge in Luxbourne. Mr. Parker, this is a formal request to secure the services of Marianne McCulloch, hereinafter called the designer, as authorised by Hannah Wright, hereinafter called the client, for interior design work at Ermengarde Mansion, Luxbourne, LX18ORF, United Kingdom. The client hopes to have the designer there on the 21st of October, Friday, with the time pending. But as I open the mail and see that I've been requested by the client specifically, well, I certainly didn't expect that, and it's pretty straightforward too. Anyone else would probably be excited. They'd be working with the Hannah Wright. She's just one of those rich socialites that everyone loves to talk about, no matter how hard I try to tune such nonsense out. It would have been enough for me to reply in affirmative to Chris and leave, but he has never pleaded for me to take a project before. We've worked with big personalities in the past, celebrities, bankers, even a few politicians. My PA has been indifferent about those. So the question bounced about in my skull before I spy one of the email attachments. A newspaper clipping from the Luxbourne Daily Business News section boasting the headline, Wright Enterprise donates $2.5 million to refuge. It certainly caused quite a stir back then. Apparently, they'd invited businessmen and socialites everywhere in the guise of it being some big business announcement.
$2.5 million and an expensive looking party to boot. These people sure know how to throw their money around.
Not that I should be so callous. They're going to do a lot of good and help a community of people with all those pounds. I, of all people, shouldn't criticise such acts, whether they were for show or not. At the very least, I know they'll be able to pay my rates. With the headline out of the way, however, I find myself staring at the picture that came along with the clipping. Because wow, here I am expecting a sour old woman in a blazer and skirt, but the woman that was plastered on the front page looked like she belongs on the front page of an entertainment section, or even, if I'm to be crass, as a pin-up for a glamour. Okay, I'll be real here, a men's magazine. She sure knows how to rock that dress. Wait, her hair, her eyes, her lips. She can't be her. And at the same time she is her, only several years older. She looks just like... No, come on, Mac. The world is full of pretty blondes. It's just a coincidence. With a shake in my head, I snap out of it and reach for my phone when it buzzes, nearly falling off my chair in the process. He was to be on the other line, but there are very people waiting for me.
Oh, piss. I'm so sorry, Cam. I'm on my way.
That's what I say. Yet I still don't move from my chair, face flushed and heart racing. I can only stare until I can will myself to reply that yes, I'm accepting the assignment. And it takes even more time for me to just close the image, shut down the computer and leave. Even then, it has already burned its image into my head, no matter how much I wish it would just disappear. It makes me eager for the alcohol and the company. It makes me eager for anything that can help me forget. It's a good thing that the nearest pub is just a hop, skip and a jump from here. The Galway Shawl, as it's called by those who frequented the place, is the only decent Irish pub in the country. You can pretty much tell that someone is new if they call it by the official name, the Crawl Bar. My home away from home since I moved to Luxbourne. Well, that is when I'm not cooped up in my condo and working away. It has good alcohol, good company, and thank God, and Saint Cecilia, good music. Crowd favourites like the Bothy Noise and the High Wesleyan Men and Second Fusion Orchestra are often played. Not to mention the singing. I love singing. Anyone could just break out into a drinking song and others in the pub were just wonderful and they'd start singing along. And doing so while intoxicated is the best way to go about it. Hey, it's a win-win as long as I don't puke in the middle of the chorus and as long as I can get home in one piece at the end of the day. And tonight is karaoke night. It's funny because she seems so severe. But now she's at the pub, you know, just being chill as. Well, better time than to try and sing all my worries away. That's what my intoxicated brain tells me.
The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am. And in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave.
But drinking only reminds me of my home. And the thought of home makes me think of her.
But in the depths of my cold soul, I'll leave the burden and despair.
It makes me nauseous. It sickens me that the smallest reminder of her can cause me such grief.
I'll fight for what's worth fighting for. Forget the fear, forget the rest.
Of course, that might just be the booze. Any other day, I would have scolded myself for drinking so much.
I lied to the Lord, I lied to myself, I lied to you and everyone I care, until there were no more lies to tell.
But I already have a client, and we'll be having our first little meet and greet in a few days.
Cowardice is easier than being brave, but at last I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you. 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true.
I want to at least enjoy this night, get over the hangover tomorrow, and return to being a prim and proper professional after.
That song was for Cam, our lucky bride-to-be. So give her a hand, Galway Shawl.
Considering the state I'm in, one can excuse my smug grin and as cheers and applause rise among the pub's patrons. Because, possibly off-key public singing aside, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now, and that's a good reason, as any, to belt out in front of these strangers. With good drinks and good friends, there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight. And I forgot for a short while.
And that song was brought to you by Marianne McCullough, everyone! A round of applause!
That was so good. You rock, Marianne.
Oh, please stop. You're just saying that.
You know neither of us can hold a tune, Marianne. A toast to our shameless drunk singer. May your drinks forever flow and your notes be ever lovely.
Shameless.
If anyone deserves a toast tonight, that's Cam. Finally sealed the deal after 3 years, eh?
Read 'em and weep, bitches.
Camilla's diamond engagement ring gleams as she holds it up for all the world to see. She has reasons to be proud. 3 years of living together and her boyfriend finally asked her the big question. Obviously, she said yes.
Don't get too attached to that ring or the one after, sweetie. I was wearing a wedding ring not so long ago and look at where I am. But enough of me being a downer. Cheers to a happy engagement!
Of course, if something like Harana's voice were to happen, divorce were to happen, I'd be there for Cam. Just as Cam had been there for me, acting more than just my yoga instructor. I can't be happier for my friend right now.
Cheers!
cares?
Well, we both will be there for Cam, won't we? Hardiner and I? Hardiner, it's been a real year for her ever since her divorce. She's such a nice person, even loaning me money to open a studio, and she didn't deserve what her husband had pulled. I'm happy she's smiling again and pigging out like she used to. I think we've all missed our Japanese firecracker. We met in yoga class, something I had joined to keep myself in shape and, well, honestly, so that I could make friends when I'd moved to Luxbourne. Clearly it worked like a charm. And it definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that I brought along my lucky D20 die with me the first day. No, sir. You have a lucky D20. I love these girls so much.
What about you, Marianne? You're 30 years old and you still haven't got yourself a man.
And you guys know I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time for that.
Oh, come on. That's a lame excuse and you know it. You need a man who'll take care of you and you need it now. Maybe some hunk who'll be your house hubby while you rake in the dough.
I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. Who needs a Mr. Right?
Hey, look at me. I'm Marion McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma, but I can't get myself a date.
I mentioned druids and demons once. Now they don't know they don't even know the rules or understand what the numbers mean. And I certainly am not some sort of holy person. I'm a far cry from a miracle worker, and I barely have the willpower to fight off demons, especially my own.
Actually, maybe she isn't looking for a Mr. Right, but a Mrs. Right. Oh, my Marianne, we still love you even if you're in the closet.
That would explain some things. Hardiner, you don't have a ring anymore. Maybe you two can be together and I don't have to worry about my best girls being alone.
What are you on about? There's nothing to explain.
But the more I deny, the louder they tease until the other people in the pub start to watch. It doesn't help at all when Hardiner drapes her arm over my shoulders and leans in.
Will I be all yours then? Will you be making me feel like a woman?
I know they're just kidding around, but this doesn't make me comfortable in the slightest. So when Kamala notices my silence and Hardiner sees the expression on my face, they stop. And when the awkward air settles over us, the rest of the pub goes back to whatever they were doing before the whole thing ever happened. They probably won't even remember it when they wake up with massive hangovers anyway.
Sorry.
Me too.
Hey, no hard feelings, right?
I raise my glass. They smile. We drink. There's no need to say more. We're all definitely far too drunk tonight. Eventually the fun times end. It is a weekday after all. And with Hardiner being a nurse, she has to get ready for her next shift. Cam also has a loving fiance waiting for her at home. And I really didn't have to make a fuss about having left some buns in the oven when she took off early. Really, I understand. I was the one who insisted, who was determined to get pissed drunk anyway. Moving to the bar, I sit. Alone at last. Alone with a stranger. Alright, we need to wrap it up. Oh, not this twat. I see how they know each other then before it even started. Interesting. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.